forgot. I hit the button. I was actually trying to navigate the buttons and translate device language. Okay, and that's turned on. I can. Oh, I think it is actually. It's nice that it's kind of flexible. So you kind of stay in one position. And I turned the heat on. I think it's pretty cool though. So with this one, I'm, as I sometimes prefer to do, because I did a long podcast earlier, and I just ate. It's kind of gray and cloudy and snowy out, and I'm tired. But because of the weather and because just in general, I'm not going anywhere today. So, no plans, no money much. So, here I am. Keep people company, be kept company, and yeah. Other than that, I might read this a little bit. I'm looking through these, and I'm not expecting anybody. And I think that school might be out. I should shovel, but it hasn't stopped snowing and blowing. So. I saw somebody doing that at 6:30 the other morning. They just wanted to get out of the house and they couldn't sleep. They wanted to move, get a bit of fresh air, shovel a little bit. Maybe they're going to live more than inside house. I don't want to turn it much lower down than that. Now, I don't know what to do with the cap for my bottle, so I guess I'm going to have to just be careful and drink it and not keep it near devices. I could put this into amalgamate it into one and use its cap. Just, because I would hate to waste it anyway. Perfect. Perfect. With this one too. Got a couple floating around. As I sometimes mention, I like to get it, thankful for it, but I like to get it the perfect temperature as well. I'm, I guess, a little bit particular. I mean, it's kind of a boring beverage anyway, but, we have to replenish it in our body, right? And so we might as well have it at a nice temperature since I have the ability to, you know. I'm also very thankful for, you know, we should try and give and appreciate and give each other as much good as we can in this world. We all have the ability to do it, and it makes everybody feel good, right? Including ourselves. 'Tis the season, but always, you know. And yeah, I mean, maybe this is where I'm saying, I don't know. Like, I feel really bad for the people that don't have homes, especially with all the vacant homes. So, I didn't know, honestly, or how I wanted to. This device is being wonky, and this is one I have holding things till late tonight, so this is what I was meant to say it. I mean, in some ways it's better to say it to locals because they might be able to help. I mean, like for Canada, but they might be able to help make it happen. Otherwise, it's just words. But I mean, I don't know really how to. You know, I don't feel like I'm not financially well enough to be able to do that, and I don't even know how I would begin. So, but we have an empty home near our area that's been empty for like near our street kind of that's been empty for like 3 or 4 months. Maybe they decided, you know what, it needs a lot of work, but the base foundation structure isn't bad. We'll get quotes in the new year, and we're trying to make it up because maybe they don't have a lot of rental units, and they really would, appreciate that extra income, perhaps, right? I mean, I'd like to do stuff. I'd like to have a shopping center in it, but I guess we'll see. But um, yeah, so uh, the dog's been upstairs much of the day. He's got food, he's got water, he's been out, and he's certainly not going out again now. First of all, it's not the usual time. Second of all, snowstorm. I would show you guys if you like. In fact, I thought of doing that, but let me get this to 100%, or I don't know. It might come up. It might come up again later, closer to when I might want to wrap this up, and then you know I was able to get the back door open, but that's just because there's a small amount shoveled. Put the dog out there, and then he hops through the snow. Um, but yeah, so basically, so yeah, I guess that's true. I have to decide which I go by now with the family stuff. But I will say uh, the power of talking about things. Sometimes it really can get you to a more comfortable place when you're feeling anxious, whether it's anticipatory. You know, you know, it's easy to feel that when there's uncertainties, right? Uncertainties or uncertainties, however you wish to call it. Now I just sat down again. I kind of want to heat this up, but it's also kind of noisy. That's the thing I don't like about it. And without this, it's kind of hard plastic, and then with this, it only stays warm for so long, and then you take this off, and it's still very warm inside. So I don't know, but it doesn't. It kind of gets puffy if you heat it a little too much or whatever, just in general. But it also doesn't seem to burn like the fabric. I mean, I put this in, but I guess it's the beans or the rice, whatever it is in it, right? And then if they ever get a hole, it can be really messy. But yeah, so since I was staying inside from the blizzard and don't have a whole lot to do, I am putting together a couple gifts for people, but just kind of honestly with things I have around the house that I'm not needing anymore. Like certain, we're going to be getting a hamper actually tomorrow, and we're actually doing all right, but people at his workplace wanted to put one together because of his injury and 'tis the season. I don't fully understand it, but we're thankful, and we're certainly not going to say no because that wouldn't be nice of us. And they were also very organized. I meant to say this in a couple of the other recent podcasts, but I never did say it. They were also very organized, and gave them a list and said, check off the things you'd like. So we're not going to get stuff we don't like. That's very smart. I tried to ask my mother a couple times, what are you making in the casserole for the Christmas thing? Yeah, I sent that other email, and they weren't able to help that girl out. But I sent that other email, and she saw that. But that other one's been sent for. Let me just see for a moment here. Um, since the 18th. But then I think I asked 2 or 3 days prior. She still hasn't said, so she might find us saying, "Sorry, we don't like what's in it. That's why we were asking." I mean, she sometimes forgets that I'm picky, I think. I don't know. I mean, she's not around me when I eat very much anymore these days, and I kind of always have. But I am more picky than I used to be, food-wise, kind of, sort of. But also, either that or we'll pick around stuff, as best as we can. Because otherwise it's pancakes. Those are okay. But, you know, I don't hate pancakes. Again, that's something else I used to like more. I'll eat them. I'll eat them. But, and I don't know if it's going to use an almond milk or something, but that could be interesting, I guess. Better than just the almond milk itself or whatever. But they get, so, when you put the syrup and the butter on them, they just get so soft and mushy a lot of times. Sometimes that's what you like, but I prefer, what I used to love is those, I think they were called silver dollars, or that's what we called them, and they had the kind of crunchy edge, around them, and they were just kind of a nice texture, the rest of them, and they were small ones, although you can do it with the big ones too. I'm not sure if there's a special method to it or whatever, but yeah, so anyway, I'll just wait till there's people here, and hopefully our dog will go settle down, and it'll be good. I'd be curious to hear her stories on that. I know, on a nice day, I'll get a bike. I don't know, if I should give this to her, because that's a good reminder. Um, I almost want to give this one to Pat, I'm just looking through. I'm just looking through some mantra motivational cards. I found some sitting on that shelf over there, and not everything, but a lot of the stuff we have on that shelf is stuff that we're not that interested in really looking at that much. Sorry, our dog's had all of his needs met. He's just being annoying. He's like, you didn't give me a treat this morning when I was annoying when you were trying to podcast. Why can't you give me one now? Because I'm comfy. I just sat down, and we're a little short on them right now. We might get some over the holidays. I'm not sure. I don't know if I should ask. You know, she might like to have an idea of the kind of things that I might want. There's not a lot of need, but and really that's more something you're going to have. But thanks for the like, by the way. Just noticed that come in. And hope you're doing well today. We got two of you here now. So for instance, I'll read this one for here. I'll read it to myself. We could talk about it perhaps. And then I'm going to decide if I should give it to someone. What time is it currently there? 2:30. Must be late there. Struggling to sleep? With thoughts about your holiday stuff? Didn't say much about the spiritual stuff earlier, but I'm glad you're back. You must have subscribed. I didn't know she was a subscriber, but maybe you privately did so. Was that you that liked out of curiosity, or was it the other person? I'm glad to have you here again. I almost got a couple song ideas not long after you left, actually. I decided meh about the one, and I couldn't remember what the other one was. It was one that popped into my head. 2:03. Yeah, I not that long ago I kind of remembered what the time difference was, but I've since forgot. But it's 2:03 a.m. So it's the same. That's something else I've learned recently, is that it can be half past or whatever an hour here, unless your clock is way off. It's just the beginning of the hour for you. Isn't that wild? I don't know if that's called something, but so this guilt and make your needs a top priority. See, if I was to take that as a message for myself, there's not a whole lot I feel guilt about, and that may sound like, oh, you just won't take whatchamacallit for the things you do. No, I really try and do good things and be a good person, and I really, I try and see people's perspectives for the most part. It's the people that don't do those things that should be feeling some guilt, perhaps, So making your needs a top priority, I do that naturally. Who do you think that this would be better for? Someone who has lived much of her adult life homeless and maybe with some addictions. I shouldn't assume that she's had, because I don't know her as well as the rest of them. I'm not going to say who this side, but or the mother of that person. Probably, I know what I'm kind of thinking. But at the same time, she's one that, because she doesn't always try and consider other people's perspectives, or at least speaks too soon before trying to do so sometimes. And these things happen in the moment. And so they get embarrassed. And kind of cover my own ass and to acknowledge that you're wrong. I'm the type that usually tries to apologize pretty quickly too, because I think about the things that happen. Other people are just like, oh, okay, I've got to keep that in the past. Didn't like that it happened that way, but yeah. So I'm not really sure as far as that one. I think that there are probably some things that about Mary that she, maybe precipitated, and some that she didn't. I really don't know. I really don't know which one for that. This one says, let the beauty of nature feed your soul. Not that many more of them, because some of the deck is somewhere else, and then the rest of it, there was two of them though. That's the thing. The rest of it is over there. I separated some of my favorite ones, and then I was carrying it around in my backpack for the longest time, thinking I might just leave it somewhere or give it to someone. Never really did. And now I don't know where they are. Me and G kind of both remember seeing them in the foyer, but I took a quick look the other day, and I've been in the foyer quite a bit, although sometimes just going straight to the keyboard. I've not seen it, so. I do have, I don't know if I don't know if you're still here, but I do have the radio on very lightly. I don't want to have it on too much. Actually, I didn't monetize this though, so I guess I could. But I don't know what to expect it playing, so I'd kind of rather, I can hear it a bit, and that's good enough. So if I get ideas, I'll do them. Or if you give me any. Hmm. 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 And I thought that I had looked through some of these. Where did I? Oh, where? On that shelf, like I say. Looks like not everything, but a lot of the stuff on there is stuff that we kind of put aside because we don't need to have it like actively out. Some of the stuff we do have a bit more kind of in the areas we kind of look at more. To tell it more because of the devices, but not always, and we're meant to stumble upon them when we are, right? But hence this, I guess. But so, and I don't remember seeing these ones with these long things. Takes great personal strength to hold on to our center during times of great hurt. When we are in the midst of loss, betrayal, crisis of any kind. That part I think is obvious. If that was all it said, I wouldn't know. Because it's good to remember it, and sometimes the physical thing helps, but I wouldn't need that. There is power in the words, be still and know I am. Ayush, are you there? I might have a song idea. And looking at this the second time, I thought it the first time, but I processed it more the second time. Although, not that long ago I looked at it, that song I think, and I think I decided not to do it. I did it. It was like, oh, I didn't know that was mentioned in it. But it's also a bit of a trigger, someone in my past. And even being a life coach and that, we're all human. Sometimes our own experiences, it's not that we don't empathize or feel the pain of others and understand, their experiences or whatever, and sometimes as strongly. But no experiences are like the ones that we've had, that we've been through ourselves, right? And so I think it's important to remember that, sometimes those are the harder ones to get past. And we all kind of go on with life sometimes, and we don't always do healing. We eventually do. We eventually get to it, hopefully, and that's important. And again, we should be trying to bring good into our life and the lives of others. But, and then there are sometimes things which like I'm thinking of this person, or other people I've had in my life. And I cherish connections, and I like to try and have them last as long as possible. If not, till I die, whether I'm on gray or not, but I already got to be gray. But, at the same time, it's kind of like, that will take effort, not just on one person's side of things sometimes, and right, and I think it's something that you start to want, especially more as you get older. Not that I'm super old, but and you know what kind of people passing away or fading out of your life, you know it more in most cases when you get older. Not saying you don't know it when you're younger. And I know there's kids out there, and there's new thing in that. That's very common stuff these days. Or used to be, not that long ago. But, I mean, it's, like, I need to tell myself with my one friend that I sometimes have been kind of alluding about, like, I did the best I could. to try and address what was bothering me, what was on my mind. And she may be out of embarrassment and a habit of avoidance that I hadn't realized that she had the latter. She just decided, like, I'm still gonna talk to him. He still matters to me, and maybe it was also her own needs. I want some time, but she is close with other people in the building, and I don't know. I mean, I don't doubt that I probably meant something to both of these people because I've been in their life so long, and that's a choice that they made to have me in their lives, as I made to have them. You know, and so, but sometimes, but a number of things may happen, and you eventually have to make the choice that you have to cut ties. Um, I do feel that somewhat the kind of connection. Well, but then I don't know. I think it's also good not to give up on people too quickly either, right? So I don't know. I'm just thinking of this past connection, and why I think of it, why I think of him, is because that quote at the bottom there, um, when he was staying in a ward, which I don't know that last name today. When he was staying at a ward, his sister his sister did something, I can't remember what, connected to that. Told him to listen to the song, I think is what it is. But, again, I'm not too sure if I want to do it or not. And I'm also not too sure what he's barking at. So let me go check. Ow, ow, ow. Really acting like there's somebody there, but there really isn't. Vehicles might be making noise driving through the thick snow, but I really don't know what's wrong with it. It's not lit up almost all afternoon, so you're not going to go out yet, and you're also not, but they don't go anywhere when it's like this, Change your plans, kind of thing. It's really, I'm not the only one that's thinking that, but apparently some people aren't. So yeah, these were still in the box. Actually, these are self-care cards. These were still in the box. There was just a few of them. I'm thinking they're not familiar to me. Yeah, they might not be. But, no more order stuff. Well, we have the hamper coming, but we need small amount of things that may not be in it. That are staples that are maybe a bit more unique to us, like the chopstick. Vegetarian we're doing okay with. If we can find it, maybe we will. Yeah, so I don't force them to eat it. I try to make them eat. They just happen to eat the same things I eat a lot of times. Anyway, I like this one. I'm going to wait till there's somebody here. Hmm. 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 You know, they also don't say whose quotes these are. Well, I guess they're all hers. The one the cards, maybe. I don't know. Not sure. I need to slow down for a bit because I was doing a stream earlier and I'm tired. Too bad I wasn't doing music with that guy. I don't know. His English seems okay mostly, but I don't think he's still here. Doesn't seem like he's not saying much. Doesn't indicate anybody is, but shouldn't have touched my eye there. That particular stuff is highly perfumed, even though I don't smell it initially, because I only use it at home. Not in my hand. I can feel it's a little bit greasy, but way more than you would think. Coconut sunset must be the sunset part. And I touched my eyes with it. Not as intense of a feeling as that other stuff. This is yeah, that's lotion. The other stuff happened to be body wash. I didn't realize, but I've been using that a few times lately. But now I'm thinking, I don't want to be like Riva. No offense to her. And she introduced herself a bit more to our viewers and even me actually in the previous podcast. And I don't mean to say, in some ways, I don't mind being like her, at least similar. But sometimes I wouldn't mind like a vision or hearingification, but you know, from those things. But even if I wasn't traveling anywhere. But no, I mean, really, I appreciate my sight and my hearing, and they are great blessings that the humans are able to have. Most of us, that and we already know that stuff. So I have two more cards here that are they're not tarot. If anybody's thinking that, they're just they're good self-care cards actually, and I might mildly tweak these two, or leave a couple words out. But basically, this one says, "Peace is much more than the absence of war and violence." And as soon as I hear that, and the person left. But as soon as I hear that, I think, well, yeah, because war and violence is not peaceful. It's not loving. It's not trying to find understanding. It's just, I don't want to get too much into my opinions. I know I'm not the only on this topic. I know I'm not the only one that feels them, but I know a lot of people don't, and I sometimes think of a certain word when I think of that. But I mean, I just think that people either need to surrender if they can't find understanding and love and all that stuff. First, try to do so, and then surrender and avoid. Like I think we can all agree that it's pretty sad when we have loved ones that are in the services, because they're not as much in our life, and they're risking the opportunity of being able to be. They're putting themselves at risk. And yes, that's brave. I don't want to get too much into it, like I say, but I also don't really feel like it's that smart. Um, and I don't know if I'm just not very knowledgeable or whatever, but in fact, that makes me think of a song. Speaking of the heavens, I'm going to do that song. And I think it'll speak into what I'm thinking a little bit. And then also the Italy sister. But yeah, just got to pull it up here, and yeah, I did put the guitar over there. The person left, but whatever. Somebody that was here earlier was asking about the guitar, so maybe is everybody speaking with it? No, that was okay. So I'm trying to get it to open. It's being a bit slow, and you were great and patient. If it was the same person that came back twice, maybe they didn't leave, but it said twice that there was somebody here, and now it says anyway, I'm gonna get the guitar. Which one? I don't know, but I kind of like where that one is right now. I don't plan to play it a lot. Or do I want to do it on the piano? No, because I might want to go a little bit longer. And this device drops very fast, and I can't like charge it midway because it did that wonky last time I tried. What time of day is it? 3 o'clock. Yeah, so you could be on an hour and a half. So. And for anybody who I've told that you're in Edmonton, I didn't say I was in Edmonton. Now I have a pick thing. Not actually a pick because I don't know where that went, but I have a. Can't be helpful with the song open, please. I might have to open it up on this. You know, that's the thing about cell phones and tablets is they are a little less wonky in that way. You know what's interesting? I actually saw another one on the counter. They have two of those things that work pretty well to pick. Excuse me. Where is the other one? I looked at it. Here it is. Okay, we got it open. Here we go. We're going to do a song. Okay. Feel free to suggest songs as well. That didn't seem to interest the person that just tuned it. No, not. Well, I guess you're not, but I'm gonna. And yeah, I think about I've done this. I think yeah, I think about, and you know, like the one most recently, even though it was kind of a mini, still it holds a very special spot in my heart. The other ones kind of do, but then so not really. And then also, I think about something from my school days. Basically, we had a substitute teacher, and there was a talent show. I don't remember my school having it very much, and my high school had more so fashion shows, where they kind of put little scenes, and I should have been more involved in them, either designing sets or, I mean, they didn't like a lot of it. They just put different outfits that they already owned, probably, mostly, but music choreo. I should have done something because it was right up my alley. I was so focused on classes in the rock band that I didn't. But there's a substitute teacher, and when they had the talent show, even though she wasn't a student, I don't know if they just didn't have many people sign up or she just wanted to sing. And I believe she sang this. So. From a distance, the ocean meets the stream, and the eagle takes flight. But there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. The voice of hope. something missing in this version of this song. No diseases. No hungry mouth. Marching in. The fact of the from a distance, I'm not sure why that part's in there, but the rest of it is a good message. You look like my friend, then you shouldn't be. You should not to be, even though. Everybody. I cannot comprehend what all the So, it was flickering a bit at the top there. I know that somebody was there, and then I guess I missed the part that, honestly, it sounds a little bit religious. I wish we had a lamp in here. Actually, I'm going to turn those two lights on. Oh, I am a little bit tired and lighted. Look at our podcast today, the weather day. Oh, that was already on. Somebody didn't want that. Oh. At least we can sleep right up and I don't have to work. It is Friday after all. Thank the Lord, I really thought it was Thursday. Yeah, actually, we were waiting for that bus. It was taking a while, but to get to the light, that's a bit stand out later. I know it was just one song, but I've been podcasting a lot today. I probably won't tonight, but we'll see. But I probably won't. I think I'm just going to focus on watching things, looking at stuff with G, maybe looking at this one a bit more. And yeah. Try to find a gift bag. We don't have a lot of them kicking around, and I could go buy one if I had to from the dollar store if we get some decent weather to walk there, but yeah, because I would hate to use even a fabric Walmart bag, but I don't know, Pat would really care either way. I'm sure Joanne will be stopping by with some things before long, and maybe we can ask if she's got a spare one. In fact, I think that's where we got this one from. So, there's actually a candy cane on that, so that might remind me. You know, I'm actually fine if people that see this afterwards only watch this far. They've gotten something. Hopefully they've liked and subscribed and commented. At least one of the three. 2 would be even better, and season of giving, so why not go for all 3? I mean, they're all giving, but yeah. But so I wanted to kind of look at this a bit more. So to finish what quote that I was reading, it is a condition unto itself, although it is to be in the creation of peace. The person peace. Without love, there is no peace. Where love is absent, war of some kind is inevitable. I think we also need to remember that there are different types of love. I think type of love should be a last resort when somebody really, really needs it. But there is friendship love, romantic love, right? We know this, right? So it's better than fighting. It's better than stupidity. Just, this card brought it up. So they're not tarot cards, by the way, just so you know. Some of those, I mean, I've seen decks before. Some of them I don't like. Some of the ones, some of them I don't mind. But then also, it's the kind of thing I would say take the guys off personally. However, I do know somebody who, and I guess I must regress there, but the image isn't showing at the moment, who designed some that look like they're from, I was going to say Outer Coloring Book, only because they are pretty well made, well drawn, like they're not, but I guess like a kid's coloring book, until the kid tries to color, possibly outside the lines, the outlines of whatever the image is are pretty well done. So imagine those well colored. And I know somebody with tarot cards like that. So going on with that thing about love, and I like will be one in which everyone is in love with everyone all the time. We will see each other as God or the universe created us as we are evolving and as loving and lovable people that we really are. So kind of want to circle back to that one maybe in a bit. I don't feel like I don't want to be the love preacher, but if I'm going to preach anything, some people don't need it, and they might tune in as I'm talking about that and be like, I didn't need to hear that, and I was like, I didn't know that because I didn't know you. I'm glad you don't need to hear it, but some might. So, and as far as this one, I don't think maybe much of a person to get advice. But I'm wondering if I gave this to her, if she might give it to someone who is a lot of or has a lot of aggression, that maybe it might help them. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So, okay, in it goes then. That's the first one I put in there. I really need to find the other ones. It's only got a few short days before I see them. And I think I put one in each though, and I'm unsure about this. Maybe I could decide one of each to put in there. Speaking gently to yourself, rest of relaxation. I don't know. But maybe I should give another look at these ones, to be honest. I'm pretty sure they're ones I'm going to want to keep. And any of the other ones, I'm not sure where they're at. The other deck, that may not have any of them out. And the rest of this one, because like I said, I think I took them out because these were the ones that stood out to me. I kind of remember doing that. Not recently, but... She may have... Oh, there's a kind of gold lining, too. Fancy. She may have started off trusting her feelings and dreams to guide her career path, but I can't necessarily say that I would give that to her because... I don't like this one for any of us, really. I'm thinking of just pure getting rid of that one. But you know what? Speaking of wanting to help her and keep improving her life, maybe I'm the person to do so. I'm wondering if I could put my employment counselor, now that I've been doing some of that, skills to helping with it, that. Some of these I don't think I've seen either. Maybe I take back the other thing I said. Well, I know I looked through them a little bit when you brought them home. Fairness and protection to others who need your help. That's always a good thing. And just to others in general. This one I might need with me at the thing. When the night holds. But, like I say, this just won't be monetized if it's picking that up, so that's fine. Don't have to be. So, total today, although I'm trying to think if I've done like long streams and then done one in the evening very often. I think the longest I've done when I've done that has been a 3-hour one. So, we're at now 5 hours and 40 minutes when we combine the two. So, on this blizzardy day, so we're very close to setting my Guinness record anyway. When I get close, it's like, I might as well try for it, you know what I mean? I don't know if I know what that word is. I like this one. I'm being kind of creeped out a little bit, for lack of a better, different way to put it, because the image on it, the person writing does not look like me. Behind them is an angel. In my previous podcast, I said, although not recently, I was working on a writing project. I was just doing scenes. I'm not really sure what to do with it still, but I know that lots of people are successful in those type of genres, and that people like it. And I was mentioning how I was mentioning how one of mine was kind of helping me with the process, made himself a character in it, and was kind of helping it along. And I want to see what you think about this. So, let's see here. I'm just going to pull up his picture online. Like I say, he's passed away, but and I envision him dancing around me, dancing at the moment in the room. So, it just popped up. I really should, when I think to do so, and that I really should maybe start doing that when I'm channeling, is start showing the person's picture as I'm doing so. Why not, eh? So I don't know if I'm going to hear more from him, so I'll keep it handy. But, and this is the card. So, longer hair. And he may have had longer hair at some point and worn wigs, most definitely. So, I almost want to keep it as motivated for me then. And so that makes me think I haven't seen this pile before, but I'm so confused. They had this thingy around them. Maybe I missed that one and it stuck together. Now this one is very similar, and it says, you have a book inside of you that wishes to be expressed, make the time to write it. And this is the thing, I think we all do. We all do, because we're all living a life. And somebody would read it. And whether it's writing a book, doing live streaming, your journey and your story has meaning and purpose, would inspire others, and I'm sure you've learned some things along the way, right? So, and I definitely could think of Mary when I'm looking at this. And I mean, the person, it's a similar type of photo. I don't think that the angel in the back reminds me of anybody, nor do I think that the one in the front reminds me of anybody. Um, and I think, and there's nothing on the back of the card except the same image. I think I'm going to give that one to her. It's kind of fun to put these together, I must admit. Oh, we got a second like there. Didn't that just show up? I think so. Very cool. Appreciate it. I like this dress. I think that word I wasn't sure of has something to do with this. I also guess remote clothing. This one's a hard one to believe. I'm just going to show it. They're not really tarot cards, by the way, but they're just... Can you make that out? It's showing backwards, isn't it? Your life purpose fully supports you. Do you agree? I don't know if I feel it strongly, but I maybe feel it a bit. There's a few more here. So what am I doing with this card? Waiting to feel it. Really waiting to feel it more. I don't think Pat needs it. Mary? No, she probably doesn't feel it. Probably feels it less than I do sometimes. So, just kind of giving what I know. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. It's hard when we can't kind of see the video that much, right? For the most part. We had 3 there for a moment. This one makes me think of G. And it's kind of familiar. Kind of not. This one, I don't know which... I don't know. And I'm going to get his opinion on some of these, because he knows the 2 people that I'm looking at giving them to. As far as that, for me, I stretch when I need to. I know with my health and that I exercise as much as possible. Yoga, not likely. And lastly, that's just a neat one. I'll show it maybe, I think, of Mr. Hyrix a little bit, whether he's going to join in or not. Do I have a picture of him? I do, possibly. The only one I think I do have, actually, yes, 1 minute. I think I just got, I came back across this the other day. And I understand, I mean, we're this deep in. I understand, people's privacy or whatever, but this was somebody in my life. And I'm not saying anything bad about them. I'm not saying a lot of their personal details. So I think that that's fine. Now, she doesn't have a lot showing. He looks pretty much like he did back then. A little older, but I would say he looks pretty much like he did back then. It's just that it hasn't been that long, and I know some people who passed away, their obits are still around, and it's been longer. But is this the one that I had that horse thing over? And I put it in that thing or whatever. Renee was the middle name, I think. Somehow I remembered that. And then the other one, oh right. I'll be right back. I just gotta let that load up. And yeah. And I think I'm gonna get rid of this one. Yeah. These ones I want to ask him about because I was unsure. I also want to show him the thingy. But yeah, that just gets him all over that bunch. Really. I wish I just had the spin ball. And I'll put this. Oh, it doesn't fit. Okay, I'll put it with this then. Because I can't believe it. I mean, I have a couple times, but I can't believe that I'm not really thought to show the pictures. Lovingly. I think this is trying to tell people to be less sensitive, and I think that sometimes that's a good thing, and other times not much. Oh dear. I hope not, but this is just a reminder that we have to cherish our loved ones, you know, when we, either it's easy or we can find ways to make it easier. It's a reminder. I mean, it's true. The closer that we get to our loved ones, when they eventually pass away, the harder. You know, the more responsibilities we may feel as they're getting sick and this and that, which is why I got to be so careful because, one, my ability as a non-driver and a low-income person is limited. Two, there is the path, and we can look past some of it, or at least try and move on. But truth be told, it's still very hard. Those that make it easier, or that live with than that, yeah, we care for folks as yeah. Absolutely terrible conditions out there. I almost want to show you. Not that some of you have never seen a snowstorm before, but I think we're getting a lot more of one today than we did yesterday. Because yesterday it was in the morning, it may be late evening, but it was actually fairly clear but very windy through the day. But today, most of the afternoons look like this. Craziness. I hope that we can hope for everybody's safety, Calling G in the GMC. So, he was going to call me before I left for work. Whether he's early or not, it's only now, right? Oh, snow on this tree. I don't know about it. Get stuck. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, I just finished 2 hours or so.
Oh, okay. I was hoping that maybe they'd. You're not going to be in there very long. That's the thing. And but I mean, definitely, it would be nice to appreciate the fact that it's so close on a decent weather day. I understand the rush and everything and that, but because it's certainly not even weather to really be walking through this very much. It's worse than yesterday, I would say.
Oh, Frank, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
I can ask.
Yeah, there's lots of thick drifting snow and yeah. Okay, good. I hadn't heard from you, so I thought I'd call. And what's the other thing I was going to say? I wanted to remember to ask, did the microwave that we have come from there? Okay. Yeah, because it was working a bit wonky the other day and sort of today, so I don't know. It might need to be replaced soon. So, but okay, so that's good to know that it lasted for a while. It's good to know we can get one from there if we need it. Mm-hmm. Okay, love you, and I look forward to you being home soon, maybe a little early, and safe travels. Okay, yeah, bye. He still seems very frantic and this and that. I don't even know if he's gotten his lunch. He may have eaten a sandwich, but he doesn't sound like he's gotten his lunch. I'm a bit worried about a heart attack. In fact, I saw something earlier today. I saw a post about the risk of heart attacks when you're shoveling snow, but like it hasn't stopped snowing and blowing all afternoon. There's been a couple times where I thought, I wonder if I should get a bit of fresh air and shovel. I mean, I have bad knees. My back's not great, but it hasn't been the weather to go out and do it. It would be pointless. Yeah, I think I showed a little bit of it just there, eh? I'll show you a bit. Well, there's nobody here watching right now. Just I was about to get up and do it, but I'm kind of up now, so here I am. I'm not kind of up. I am up. This is up. Face is down. Sorry. Watch me not get back. This is the empty house, which I wish wasn't empty. So somebody's getting brought into the post office, which, again, he was happy to find out that there was actually one within another business, a FedEx company, not far from us, in walking distance. I guess it's good to know for the future. This person paid, there was a bit of difficulty, and this and that. We wanted to it may not get to him before Christmas because that's pretty soon, and I think it's just for him, though. Or it could be a late Christmas gift for somebody, just kind of doing the finalizing things. I mean, because we hadn't heard from him for 2 or 3 weeks. Kind of the finalizing things past few days here, and there was a bit of hiccups. So, yeah, we're getting it there, that's for sure. And so, yeah, he's kind of wanting to not wait till there's another other day, because it might not be until I think next Wednesday or something. At this point, anyway, that's what it looks like. And that's like almost a week away. So I don't think we like that option. Yeah, it's very damp, and I'm gonna feel like absolute shit if I go out there. SHYT. I'm trying to do anything. I know he's had a very hard day too, but you know what? We don't have to rush to do it. Yeah, he should walk the dog, but we might put that off. If the dog's not like asking strongly to go out, as long as he gets a walk this evening, we wait till the weather's better and then we do it. And actually, could probably walk. That's got pretty thick, so we might have to shovel a little bit. That's for sure. I'm at 99%, but I might roll until. I don't remember if there's been anything. It's been pretty good. It doesn't feel like it's been an hour, and I think I'd still rather show him the other one. I think I would. Take a bit of a break for myself, and then, yeah. Working through other things on the computer, too, and I want to talk with him about those cards. And some of them are kind of in the way of things. Yeah, I'm very, very curious to meet Carol, even though I might not be able to stay close to it, too, because it's so dark with everything. And to have a nice breakfast. And I don't want to deny them, and I've already said yes to the invite, and we'll make it work. And like I say, we talk about the event. We can talk that we played at. We can talk about seeing the sister and the niece. And then we'll be there and say, okay, we caught up. He can fill you in. Let's learn about you, Carol. I don't want to say sing us a Christmas carol. I'm sure she heard that growing up all the time. It's nice to see a Christmas carol. I so want to. Oh my gosh, I so want to. Any carols in the house? Earth to carols. Would you be offended with that kind of? I mean, I'm not meaning to offend. And I can say I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just silly. if she's at all used to my step, who is a bit more of the silly one compared to my step and my mother, I don't have a stepmother, then she'll be fine. I don't know how she is with humor. I would like to think we all have a bit of a sense of humor and like to laugh, but some of us don't seem to as much. I am not always high energy and seeming happy. I'm not. I'm human. Sometimes I'm just burnt out and sad and frustrated, and I think that you probably get that sense at least a little bit sometimes from me if you're familiar with the content. But I try not to be. You know, I do detract myself from those things sometimes. But yeah, so man, I wanna, man, I wanna, man, I wanna. That might be a question for a cat, though, Katerina. Because I'm not going to speak to her before the other thing, but it'll be something to talk about there. It's like I only have one question for you other than Merry Christmas. Should we make this joke? Just kidding. Also, I want to get in the habit of trying to think of thumbnails to put for my videos more often. I do it occasionally, but I'd like to do it more often because once they're posted, especially, or anybody that comes across it in the feed, unless they're seeing it move, would see it, and it might intrigue. What's it have to do with the photo kind of thing? Now, speaking of photos, okay, it opened twice. Oh no, that's the other one. The portion of this obituary that you're trying to access requires, with his name in it, an extension in order to become active again. Would you like to contribute to the memorial's extension? Other commemorative products available. Keepsake book. I don't know why that matters. I seem to be seeing the full thing. And I don't know which one he's more recognizable. But again, I'm doing this in kind and care and loving, and in introducing you to. I don't know how specific I should be, but this is somebody from my school days. I think I really want to, and. Somebody left just before that. Just before seeing the prince himself. I don't know if I remember seeing this before, but I think I do. He left us a legacy to love and love some more. To forgive and endure. To never stop finding your passions and pursuing them. Live life. $2021. 3, 4, 5. Only having went four Christmases, his family without him, is not a lot. Ooh. Oh, okay. I misunderstood this. Some of this is not familiar. And again, that was just very quickly, just so people could see who I was referring to, like saying love and kindness. But I hadn't. I'd looked up this condition before. I don't remember it saying some of this stuff, and if I did, I don't remember it. Now I'm going to want to probably have a sleep soon. But yeah, I'd misunderstood when I said that it was amazing that I had him as a teacher, and most people don't live beyond 6 or 10 with this uh, condition. I misunderstood it. Once they are diagnosed with it, they don't live beyond that. So how old was he? I feel like I processed the date, but I processed the date of passing more. Um, and actually, that one, I'm not sure how the tablet will be with that site. It's amazingly not a common name. Both names are kind of common, so they should be common together. Well, actually, I haven't heard it very often, but for Austrian, they probably would be. Okay, okay. So that means, and that looks like he's pretty close to the age he was when at my school. So that means, okay. So with the prognosis, I think it said 6 to 12 years, um, which would mean if he lived that whole time with it, it'd be hard to imagine when I look at the conditions. If he lived that whole time with it, then he lived with it probably since he was early 50s, late 40s, early 50s, which is probably around when I knew him. And, or possibly, I would prefer to think less long. Hello, my friend. It has been a while. I sense you have had a busy and tiring day, but I just wanted to visit you and your viewers. Basically, first I'm going to start with my legacy. And the person left, they're like, what the heck is this? Some sort of... Yes. No, I'm just kidding. But you left, so maybe not, because I already read it. I'm not going to say as much as your other friend, but hopefully I'll give you this. You'll be at peace and stillness with it. You're ready for your rest soon. And yes, Merry Christmas. And cherish the loved ones. You are right about that, he says. Um, Or of course, they'll still see him, or they would have, then in the small town. No, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I remember. It's hard to remember. She probably thought you hadn't seen me in many years. She maybe didn't think at the time. And I'm still amazed to this day with you and so many of my other students that I watch over. He says, I am and am not, as you like to say. But he says just how much impact I had on people's careers, outlooks, school memories. He says it's really something. It's really something. I'm not mocking him. I'm just finding myself saying things in a similar way, kind of in his voice or accent, which is only making the experience even more real than it already feels to me. So, You know, and anybody who's seen me channel for the first time, this is what it can look like. This is how how special it can be. Feel free to check me doing it on some of my other videos and get more of a sense. Uh, White light, all can coexist with religion. That's basically all I'm going to say. He says, we are men. Primarily, we are men, both of us, right? And he says, in my culture, even though we have a tough exterior, we are very loving. We, we, I don't know how to put it, he says, other than to offer. So this is a bit of an awkward moment you might be tuning in on, but welcome anyway. Basically, thinking, okay, you left, whatever. So it'll be an intimate moment, like this kind of feels like it to be. But I realize it's on YouTube. Somebody may see it later. It is what it is. He's like, and actually, I remember the first time I showed him. Can't remember how soon after he passed that I found out. But I think at that time I was checking my school's website more often. I had long since graduated. Not website, social media page. And so that's where I'd initially noticed. And I think it was only 2 or 3 weeks later. And I think the very first time, not only with a handshake, but he wanted to do that. The holding as if they would and imagining it being them and feeling that healing, I think that came from Marianne, a former co-worker of mine and a friend. We were talking about hands, but maybe also my dad. But then unless I click this, now it still says there's somebody watching. Who do we got watching? If the person who's watching could please comment. Looks like we may have gotten a comment from a troll. Okay. Now it went away. But it didn't ever regularly hide. Unless it's somebody else that's here. Anyway, what was just about to transpire, I might actually just focus on not in the live stream as far as what I was going to do before that person tuned in. I could also sound like a lot of you like to talk. But I don't believe JP is still here. And also, yeah, he wouldn't bring that kind of energy. I don't have the energy for it. And it's never the kind of thing I'm going to really ascertain all that much. So I'm a little unsure who's currently watching. Some people really don't know anything about it, but all I will say is this. If the feature is being wonky and it didn't do what I thought it did, sounds a little bit like a Middle Eastern name, actually. But it's not. What's his face is? I mean, I didn't think it would be, but if that person is still somehow seeing this, I am just going to say that you'd be a better person. You don't have to come onto somebody's live stream with that kind of energy. I thankfully don't see it very often, but it's not. It adds no value. It's not necessary. Um, and it's yeah. Um, One was if that person was doing their own live stream, they wouldn't have wanted that, you know. And I just, obviously they're really frustrated about something, and I don't know, that was really strange. I hope that I'm not going to think that about anybody, some of the more difficult family that I'm going to be around over the holidays. But if I have to, I will certainly, around them, not around them, maybe, and then go from there. It's really nice, especially in the winter, to be able to have the option to get right to things when I need. But if I can only do the thing that one, because it's the closest, then that's what I do. And other than that, we go from there. Maybe she'll learn that she better kind of about this quicker and own up to it better, because otherwise it might be a complete blow up. And if she does that, even though there'll still be frustration, then maybe I would be open to, But anyway, just, yeah. It was just a little bit of something because of the other day. Okay. Yeah, back in my day, I know I worked in the schools, but back in my day, we didn't know the internet, none of that. It happens in person sometimes, but none of that kind of stuff would ever happen. But, I don't have to give you an answer. But if you'd like one, I'm happy to. You know how you can feel it most strongly in this connection. And I'm just offering that to you if you'd like. And that came before that, actually. But, so, not only do I not have the energy for that kind of stupidness, I also don't really have much energy in general. So I think I am going to wrap up. And 37, not 32, but yeah, and I think that's what I'm. Hi, Crystal. Nice to hear from you. Good opportunity to wish you a Merry Christmas, season's greetings, Happy Holidays, however you prefer. I was this close to wrapping up. One, because of a troll, but more so because this is the second live stream I've done today. I'm really tired, and I feel like maybe because I'm familiar with you. Are you still there? Just making sure. Because obviously I was talking to you. But you did say 18%, but it should held 18% a lot longer than that. But if it's anything like my device, which is at 61%, it may not have. If you're still there, I'll say a bit more. If you're not, I won't. And I prefer not crotty words, by the way. Are you plugged in? Are you back? Are you still here? Doesn't look like it. But I think she was when I said Merry Christmas. But that's how, that's almost an example of how, not only devices, but people, of all ages. It doesn't matter how low, how young they may be or whatever. Technically, he wasn't all that old. They can just, it almost makes me, as much as I appreciate and value the routine and the rest, and sometimes we sleep more than other times, but, it almost makes me not want to have the nap, because we should just be enjoying each other's presence more. But he's had a very, very tiring day. And so have I, in my ways. So I really think we should. So I'm thinking of wrapping up very, very soon. Just want to see if that's Crystal that came back or who it might be. But the person already left. And I have no energy for flashes right now either. Unless I can actually see him doing it. No, I'm just kidding. And I can, kind of. Then, yeah. So, anyway, I'll keep this one shorter. Be able to talk about the other one. It wasn't going to be 4 hours anyway, but, yeah. It was nice to see that familiar person I haven't seen in a little while pop in. Say hi. Can't stay long because as far as 80%, just stopping it. So. You know, and I can say all I want, you know, I know I'm in this headspace, and even though I'm feeling calm and relaxed and very tired, as a you, I feel like we share as being a bit, you know, even though he believes slightly in the afterlife, not as much as me in the afterlife, I don't think I want to put him through that, you know, put him through, like, not being able to get a bit of extra rest tonight and try and sleep a bit, today, rather, because of my anxieties, which I then, if he does end up trying to nap, I'd be sending him there with thinking of that, like, right before he's trying to do so. So, goodness. I know that we have been sharing a great life with each other for the past 8-ish years, and we've had many good times. I can hope we're going to have many more, but sleep is important. And, you know, yes, he has a kind of a condition as well, kind of in the same area as that friend, but he doesn't have. But it's been managing pretty well. You know, it's gonna be very hard one day. Hopefully, no time soon, especially around the holidays. But I know people go through that kind of thing when he might pass away. Same with our dog, and others. But but I mean, obviously, eventually we have to get sleep. So I'm not really sure. If it was garden season, he'd say, I'd be up for just being in the backyard and relaxing. It's not, so I don't know. At least he's had help on the commute. But, two names which are kind of triggers me, but anyway, it's all good. And then I don't think I'd ever heard him mention before, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up. I am barely having enough energy to keep talking, so and I think I'm just gonna take the rest of the evening to myself. Gee, so take care.